That's interesting. Supposedly a full-fledged world in Coco's head. That'd be pretty neat. It's just like how the original concept for Crash Tag Team Racing was supposed to be made by Traveler Tales, and it was supposed to be inside Crash's head, like an actual direct sequel to that ending, instead of that ending, which now is just a gag ending at this point. This is no actual continuity with it. Well, I missed those. I'm gonna go over here before I trigger the cutscene. Yeah, this is the way to get back to Insanity Beach. Insanity Island. So if I wanted to go and get that one particular... Yeah, I'm missing 3 in Insanity Beach, and I'm missing 2 in Jungle Bungle. Oh, they had audio for it? Did they actually end up having any actual game files for it, or was it just audio?
Ooh, that feels good. I was bursting in there.
How are you fools before the awesome might of the evil twins?
Aren't you two adorable? Let me see. I might have some chocolate treats here.
Just put on one of their original YouTube accounts, or was it given to like Crash Mania?
We've some good news and some bad.
The bad news? We're going to destroy your precious islands.
The good, you won't be around to see it.
How tiresome.
Oh, you want to play mind games? Okay, tough guy. Let's play mind games. This is the part where you run away screaming. Go on, run!
Catch you later, Brainiac.
There's nothing else over here. I didn't want to talk over the cinematic. Oh, nice. I still say Insanity remastered would be pretty cool. I do recall there being someone with a username that had Nina in the title that was like giving information to Crash Mania about like this cutting room floor stuff and Crash Bandicoot Evolution. But I don't think I ever actually finished my thought from earlier back when I was like messing around with the jam pack demo for Hack and Alex Shadow on my old YouTube channel that was called Crash Freak, that they had discovered that in the demo that was in the jam pack disc that I had actually had a good portion of the game in it. You could actually go beyond the Insanity Beach stuff that they were allowing you to do that if you had like a Codebreaker or a Game Shark. And you could actually find Farmer Ernest and a whole bunch of nitro crates, and it was designed completely differently. And there's also the fact that there was a punch in the demo that they ended up taking out, because I do remember that distinctly. They took it out because they didn't have time to make it not overpowered. So Crash would have punched for the first time in this game instead of Crash with Titans. I don't think Crash has punched in any other game besides Crash of the Titans. And I guess Skylanders at this point. Can I stop mistiming my jump? Thank you. And that leaves only one more gem in this area, which is I would argue that they didn't use Twinsanity designs. Like, if you compare the model of this game to Crash Tag Team Racing, it's significantly less detailed and it's honestly uglier. Again, it's not the worst Crash model. Crash Boom Bang, I would say overall is one of the worst, if not the worst Crash game. That is like an official Crash game. I just really don't like Crash Boom Bang. I just really don't. Can't get up here yet, apparently. Where's the worm? It's been a while since I actually played and tried to 100% this game. Yeah, I think it was any disc that had the Twinsanity demo on it that you could put in like Game Shark or actual replay codes and actually play a sizable portion of it. I don't know if you were able to actually do anything like in the actual iceberg layer because of that menu. I do know that I don't know. I think it was the PAL one only where it still said Crash Bandicoot Unlimited. Because I know that was the prototype title for Twinsanity. I personally think Twinsanity is a better title. It's just a better title in my opinion, and I was very happy that there were references in Crash 4 to Twinsanity. The evil twins showing up on the monitor at Oxide's lair, and when you beat the trophy twins, you get the achievement to Twinsanity. It's kind of like people discovering that the Crash Bash demo in Spyro 3 and on some PS1 jam discs it ended up containing the full game if you ended up doing the Game Shark codes, which incidentally was also, I think, found by Alex Shadow. That if you did the Game Shark actually replay after opening up the demo, you could actually go to virtually almost every single like beta version of the mini games, except for a couple would just crash the game, but more or less the full game was there.
You have to help me, Crash. You heard them. They want to destroy our island home, humiliate and enslave you, and steal my brain. How I envy the simple life of the tribesfolk.
Hey, Papu.
Living in harmony with Mother Nature, the noble boar, the humble bumblebee.
Yeah, Spiral Mouse version of Flight of the Bumblebee. One of my favorites. This entire soundtrack is still my favorite soundtrack. Okay.
What have I got?
Well, I would agree that Spyro has had worse luck post Insomniac. I would say Wrath of Cortex is still like Crash Bash is where it was like a sign that Crash was going to ultimately start going downhill because either they're not given enough time or the developers don't have enough inspiration. I know with Wrath of Cortex, like, I don't blame the developers for that. I know the history behind it, that it was like with Mark Cerny, however you say his last name. It was supposed to be an open world Crash game, but that got scrapped, and then Vivendi forced them, like, within less than 12 months to create a game. And they ended up just basically copying the formula of Crash 3 as best they could, because that was the quickest way for them to make the game in that short period of time. But I still say it's not a very good Crash game, especially since difficulty is all over the place in that game. They try way too many things that are like new, and it's a bad sign when a game, as I probably am quoting Kid Icarus, I think, from this, it's a bad sign if a game starts off with a snow level, because snow level should never be your very first level. Then it, especially if you do snow level, then a vehicle level, which is what Wrath of Cortex did. I wasn't a huge fan of the GBA games. I just didn't like the fact that, apart from Megamix and Entranced, and the idea of Entranced being one of the few games where Cortex wasn't involved at all, I just don't like the fact that it mostly rehashed like sprite versions of what was in the first 3 games. And then the second the Entranced started taking stuff from Wrath of Cortex, like the Atmosphere or Rollerball or whatever it was called. Though Crash Nitro Kart, I would say, is better on GBA than it is on the console. The console is way too slow, in my opinion. I don't think they got the speed right. It looks phenomenal for the time, just like this game. Visually, it looks great, and I enjoy the fact that Naughty Dog did help out with the design somewhat. So, there's also the fact that I do think Crash 4 did the whole thing with Nitro Crates better with the time mask, where you can jump on them and then run across them for a moment before they explode because you slow down time. The tiptoe power was really, really useless in Wrath of Cortex. Because I did recently watch Some Call Me Johnny look at Twinsanity, and he looked at Wrath of Cortex. Though it did kind of irk me that he didn't actually find the hidden power-up in one of Koku's levels in Wrath of Cortex. Since there's 6 power-ups. There's the super body slam power-up. You can miss if you don't do like a secret route. But he didn't do that. He just did the main 5 things. But I kind of understand it, because Wrath of Cortex just isn't as fun as the original trilogy. In my personal opinion, it's not as fun as Twinsanity. Twinsanity is still fun, even though it does have its problems. It's short. There's a lot of sound effects missing in cutscenes, and it was definitely a rush development. So, but I personally just like it more. Like, all the more power to you. If you thought that the games up until after this game were great, I would say like Crash had like a sliver of hope with Twinsanity, but then once Tag Team Racing came out, I would say out of the racing games, Tag Team Racing is my least favorite. Because they kind of completely did away with like the boost mechanic. It's like it's still kind of there, but they completely changed it, and it wasn't really a kart racer at that point. It was just something that was just blatantly copying Double Dash. Like, I will straight up admit that Crash ended up trying to copy Double Dash way later than Mario Kart Double Dash, but it's kind of ironic considering Mario Kart 8 now has anti-gravity mechanics, and that was in Crash Nitro Kart first.
You have to help me, Crash. You heard them.
Also,
they want
I
to
can't skip
destroy
these, so
our
this
island
is a
home,
little bit
humiliate
annoying.
and enslave you, and steal my brain. How I envy the simple life of the tribesfolk. Living in harmony with Mother Nature, the noble boar, the humble bumblebee. Ah!
Really? Thank you. I suppose. I could see him more as a casual gamer. Though I can also see how Wrath of Cortex would be tedious to complete. Not as tedious as Crash 4. Crash 4 is incredibly tedious to try at 100%. But, and I'll agree with a lot of people's complaints about the difficulty spikes in that game. And I love the fact that it's filled to the brim with content and you don't have to pay for it outside of the initial $60 price. But I do think that it was being cold hard Crash way too often with hidden boxes off screen and all that. But I would agree with the sentiments with Crash 4. Basically, if you want to 100% it, you have to dedicate a whole lot of time for it, and you have to be ready to die repeatedly, because that whole situation where you get to the last part of the level, you get to the end and it tells you missed a box. I hate that. I hated that in the original trilogy. I hated that in the Insane trilogy, and I hate that in Crash 4. That's why I kind of like that with Twinsanity. While boxes are still a thing, gems aren't tied to it, so you're not stuck to a box count, which I know is the whole point of Crash. But I think I also really like Twinsanity because it did try to take it in a different direction, tried to use a familiar formula, but also tried to be different and unique at the same time. Oh, that barely saved him.
What have I got?
All I gotta do is...
You have to help me,
I couldn't
Crash.
skip it.
You heard them. They want to destroy our island home, humiliate and enslave you, and steal my brain. How I envy the simple life of the tribesfolk. What have I got? What have I got? What have I got? Living in harmony with Mother Nature, the noble boar, the humble bumblebee. Ah!
And the bumblebee hive on his head. I'll read that in a second. I'm trying to get through this level, sort of. I'm not always on this level. And now we got a bear. We're just barely fast enough to outrun that bear. Oh, come on.
What have I got?
I forgot how to time this part. So do I actually lose some lives if Cortex dies? I can't. I haven't been making a life counter. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter if I move or not. Okay. Let's see what you said here. Yeah, I don't recall if there was ever a specified reason as to why. I think at the time Sierra Entertainment with Indy ended up taking Traveler's Tales off of it. Maybe it was because they shut down, because I don't know. I think they shut down shortly after Twinsanity came out. At least the Oxford division did. But with that switching to Radical, at first I had hopes for Radical because I really like the Simpsons Hit and Run, and I was kind of hoping it'd be sort of similar to that with Tag Team Racing. But what we got was basically Double Dash, but not as good, and the humor was all over the place for me. It was darker, yeah, but a lot of the times it wasn't that funny to me. That, and I really just disliked the whole thing. I even disliked it in Crash Nitro Kart, but they didn't actually emphasize it that much. Where Crunch started becoming a Mr. T parody. It's incredibly apparent in Tag Team Racing, and then they just went with it with Crash of Titans and Mind of Mutants. Maybe he just really likes ribeye. Yeah, I forgot there's actual stealth in this part. And I think it's like the only section of the entire game that has stealth. That was water. Dan DeVito. Alright. Crash needs to learn how to swim. I like how I hear the previous guy, then this guy. Nothing suspicious here. Duck in the boat to hide. Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. I enjoyed the familiar formula, but then they added like new stuff like this that actually still made it through and didn't get cut. How did I get spotted? I was ducking in the boat. Also, Aku, you don't protect me against arrows? Nope, too far. I'm gonna have to listen out for it. Yeah. Alright, I probably should wait. I was waiting too long. I don't remember this being this hard. not fucking see me. Thank you. Okay, all these hogs are making it hard for me to hear it. It'd help if I could jump over this, but I'm gonna have to wait. At least you're not looking like that you want to fuck the Crash. Like in Crash 1 and 2. Making that creepy ass face before deciding to ride the hog and Florp. Apparently, you were far enough away from the TNT. Oh, I think I read the life. I don't trust myself getting those lives. Yeah, I do like that natural progression feeling that you have in Twinsanity, that you're actually exploring the island instead of going through a series of levels. Hey, where's the exclamation point box for this? There's a gem over there I must get. I've still always heard Dave the Digger at the beginning of this. I don't hear Dan DeVito though. Oh, eyeballs. Yeah, I thought I got hit by that spear. Okay, out of 3 of you, 1 of you got me. Actually, anything on this boat? Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was telling me to spin those rocks. If they're in the mode, they are much skinnier and much taller. But I can see what you're going for with the same hairstyle. Don't invoke him. also like the fact that you go into the village. The village isn't just a backdrop, you actually go inside. And I enjoy the fact that nothing happened to Cortex other than being tied at the top of the totem pole for some reason. Don't mind me, I'm just a bandicoot invading your cup. Oh yeah, I forgot that even when you become invincible, it doesn't even break the boxes. And there's no music. And it lasts very short. It's not it's already done. I'm taking a bath there, buddy. Because you're pretty much on rails in Hog Wild. And besides, I don't want to know what was going through Crash's mind when he started riding the hog. Because even in the original Crash 1, he made that weird expression with him, like wiggling his eyebrows. I know he's supposed to be still like an evolved mammal, but Crash, no. I don't recall if the worm resets himself if you take too long. Okay, he does. I am invincible, but not really. Did you just go back to where you were? Like where he was previously? Smack him in the face. Where's he going now? He's done hit me. Now we're up here. I can't recall if there's actually any gems or anything. Oh, hey, Papu. I don't remember this part. I'm pretty sure he hurt you. Oh no, he's just there. There's a gem there. Apparently he's just sitting there. Waiting for someone like Crash to come along. There's 2 gems. Ah, crap. I don't know how far back the worm resets. that's not the way to go. Oh, I was too fast. I mean, being a leader is hard and tiresome. Plus, he probably hasn't had his Sunday brunch yet. How did they plan for you to start around here? I don't think so. We just happen to be able to do it. Yeah, I gotta do the worm thing all over again. I'm only missing one now. I haven't chased for her. But to be fair, you did catch Papu napping in the first game too. He wakes up and then he starts attacking you. I don't know if there was another there or not. But I think if you don't want to count the evil Crash level, that was the 10th dimension version of the bee chase, I think this is the only chase level in the game. You're not even being chased by a boulder. That was too far. You're being chased by tribesmen. Yeah. Because I don't think there are any gems in this part. Oh wait, right there. Right as I said that. Social distancing. Come on, tribesmen. And they're not wearing the face masks. Yeah, I forgot how short it actually was, too. That means I don't have to come back to this level either. I got all the gems here. Ooh, emulator slight slowdown. I'm still pretty impressed with how far PCSX2 has come with emulating PS2. Like, I don't know how fuzzy it looks actually on the stream, but it looks pretty decent even if it's in a small window on my screen. I still got him.
Oh, Crash. The farmer's market is tomorrow, and my wampa trees won't grow, for my orchard is riddled with greedy worms. If you rid my land of these pests, I'll give you this power crystal.
I'm an evil scientist. What do you expect? This isn't a game.
I still always love that cutscene, especially since I think since Evolution was supposed to be an RPG, it was gonna have probably quests like this. Yep, whack 'em all.
Give it to me! Crystal is mine! Crystal is mine!
I keep saying it, Cortex.
Give it to me!
They've magically
Come
turned
along.
into trees. Treeitis. If you could just teleport like that, Cortex, we'd probably be able to get to your lair a lot faster. I do show similarities between that and Battle for Bikini Bottom, but I also, I would think, I like to think this, but side note, I do like the fact that Farmer Ernest is just here. At least he doesn't hurt you, like Coco seems to. But also the gameplay mechanic for Crash and Cortex when they're tied together like that. Not many people have heard of the game, but I still think that there was inspiration for the game Whiplash, where you played as two escaped animal experiments that were trying to escape a testing facility. It's an incredible game, and I recommend finding it if you've never played it. It's incredibly funny. It's actually from, I think it's from Core or it's from Crystal Dynamics. It's from one of the developers at the time of Tomb Raider, and it has a very similar mechanic to this. That where you're like a weasel and a rabbit chained together, and you use the rabbit as a weapon, like you use Cortex as a weapon. It's just you are like this all the time, where in Twinsanity you're not always with Cortex. Yeah, I actually purchased the Bikini Bottom remastered. It's PS2 and Xbox. I have the PS2 version. I could actually end up streaming it at some point because it was a commercial failure, but it's an extremely fun and very funny game. The humor is very similar to Twinsanity's humor, but it's basically making fun of the whole like cruelty against animals. Like it's sort of like an anti-cruelty against animals message with it, but it makes it entertaining instead of being overly preachy. What are you doing, Cortex? Come on. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I found it at a local game shop where I live for about $15, and that's very much worth the price. I don't even think it's been re-released digitally on the PSN or the Xbox Arcade, or well, Xbox Arcade. That's not a thing anymore. Xbox Live, the Microsoft Store. I don't think it's ever going to get remade either, because it just wasn't a good like commercial game. Like it was a decent game gameplay wise. It's kind of like Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, which I was really surprised with Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy getting a PC HD re-release on Steam, because that was another game that was pretty much a commercial failure. Funnily enough, that game was made by Eurocom, the same people that made Crash Bash. So it's full circle, going back to Crash here. But I don't think Eurocom's around anymore. Though a lot of people have said that the weasel
I tell you boys
in
have been doing
Whiplash reminds them a lot of Crash.
Anyhow, we've been taken in the
You know,
sights
Crash
of
doesn't look like a
Insanity
bandicoot
Island
in the
here.
slightest.
Nice digs. So much to see, so much to destroy. You got the native village, the lava caves, the totem gods.
Yeah, Back in the 10th dimension, we don't have anything near as nice as the totem gods. The vivid colors, the intricate carving, you know, it's almost as if they're alive. Yeah.
Almost. Exactly as if they're alive.
Yeah, I do wish more games would try something new. That, or at least try combining ideas. I think you might. In there, he just acts like he has fun stuff. He's actually doing laser eyes, but okay. I just feel like get behind him and just throw stuff in there. I can see the iceberg flare occasionally. Background. Dead.
Oh, nuts.
There's nuts?
Well, you gave it your best shot. But even now, our vice versa reversa device is in operation, sucking the goodness out of this dimension and leaving behind the worst of all possible worlds. We just like making a mess.
See you around, losers! Say, is it lunchtime yet?
10th dimension. Yes, yes! In the dark ocean of my intellect swims a magnificent whale of a plan. To the laboratory! We're not beaten yet. The game is on. Come along!
Oh, KK Crash, what's going on there?